Hey, what's up, guys? Just a quick video today on the Ascendant sign and what it means as far as compatibility goes. So, again, your Ascendant is that sort of unconscious personality that you're projecting in unfamiliar situations. It's sort of the mask you wear, it's the physical appearance, it's how you put yourself forward onto the landscape without really thinking about it. It is our inborn way of presenting ourselves to other people that we can't really control or make sense of. Because it is an unconscious sort of projection. But it also has to do with our identity itself. We are all unique. We all have an identity that is unique to us. Remember, identity implies only one, okay? You can't identify yourself as part of a group unless the way you identify yourself is to not have an identity. Because identity, as a term, as a concept, implies only one. Group implies multiple people. So you have to separate yourself from a group in order to identify yourself as a unique spiritual being who's on his or her own path and doing his or her own thing. So anyway, there are many markers of compatibility that we could look at in a birth chart, in a synastry chart, in a composite chart. And I'm not really talking specifically about romantic compatibility. I'm just, when I say compatibility, I mean how well we get along with another person. And depending on the role they play in your life, you may want to look at different things in their birth chart, see how their chart lights up yours and what they offer you and what you can offer them in return. Not that true compatibility is about an exchange. You give some, I take, I give some, you take. But it's more generally about perspective, right? One big marker of compatibility, and this is by no means necessary for romantic compatibility, even friendship, even business partnership, anything like that. But one way of measuring compatibility is by looking at how your houses and signs are lined up. And say looking at a particular house, seeing which sign it's in your own birth chart, seeing which planets you have there or don't have there, and then comparing that to the same thing in another person's chart, right? So this is what I mean by ascendant or rising sign compatibility. It's really more about perspective, about how you see the world, right? So you can have an empty second house. Second house is the area of life concerned with money and material resources and material security, things of the senses, things that are tangible, okay? And if you have an empty house, second house, that means that you don't really value going out and getting those things for their own sake. It doesn't mean that you're not resourceful. It doesn't mean that you don't have good work ethic or that you're lazy or anything like that. It's just that you don't place emphasis on going out and getting material resources, doing things of the second house for their own sake. Those things come by consequence of you doing other things, you fulfilling your purpose elsewhere, right? Or they come through another person coming in and offering something to that house. Maybe, so for example, I have my second house in Pisces, no planets there. But someone who has Pisces energy, I see as being very resourceful and as someone who I can make use of because they light up the things of my second house. Does that make sense? Well, that would be in a synastry chart. If you laid, my chart and their chart in an overlay, lining everything up by sign, okay? So there is a deep sense of compatibility. This is the general point, right, that I'm making. There's a deep sense of compatibility that you will feel with someone who has the same ascendant sign as you, or not necessarily the same ascendant sign. Remember, it's not the sign itself that matters as much as how how the signs in your chart are aligned with the houses of your chart. So I have Capricorn on my ascendant, but Capricorn takes up most of my 12th house, and I have Aquarius filling up most of my first house. This is in a Placidus house system chart, by the way, which is the system that I use. And so my entire chart is organized, even though I am a Capricorn ascendant and do project that energy in unfamiliar situations and dress that way too. My chart is aligned. My houses and signs are aligned as if I'm an Aquarius rising person. So I feel a deep sense of compatibility with Aquarius rising people whose charts are aligned in similar ways, right? Now, this is a person who I can generally, I can enjoy their silence. I can appreciate the ways in which they express themselves and express the matters of their houses, because my signs are aligned with my houses. That is to say, the style in which I express myself is aligned with particular areas of life in the same way that theirs are, right? So whatever empty houses I have, I can, even though they may have a planet in that house and I don't, I can appreciate the way in which they, say in the second house, get material resources in the style of Pisces, right? Because Pisces second house, for example, might suggest that you may make money and acquire resources through the arts, right? Or through some esoteric subject. And there is going to be an appreciation of that sort of thing there with that placement, right? Even mundane things like sixth house, right? I have sixth house planets. And so my sixth house is in Cancer, because my chart's aligned as if I'm an Aquarius ascendant, right? An Aquarius rising person is going to appreciate the way I go about my mundane duties and routines throughout the day, right? Eighth house in Virgo, typically kind of a dark placement. If I meet someone with a major Virgo placement, that I don't have any planets in the eighth house, but a Virgo person is going to light up that area of life, sort of material death and existential crisis and, death, taxes, the whole lot that comes with the eighth house. So look at the ascendant signs and see how your ascendants actually line up, you and someone else. That's going to give you a general picture on not exactly what you value, because what you value depends on which houses have planets in them, right? Those are the areas of life that you're going to place the most emphasis on, and you're going to want to really cultivate your strengths, right? But it's going to tell you about the styles, differing or similar, complementary or not, ways in which you go about fulfilling your duties, achieving your goals, fulfilling your purpose, and expressing yourself. So, ascendant sign, looking at how your charts are lined up, houses with the signs, kind of compare that. If you have charts that are overall squared, you have ascendant signs that are squared, you're really going to have difficulty getting each other. Same thing with inconjuncted signs on each other's ascendants. So it's all almost as if your entire charts are in aspect to each other. Think about that. So if your entire charts are conjuncted together, that's generally a sign of strong compatibility, even if your signs don't align. It's more about how the signs and the houses align together, not so much which sign is on your ascendant, if that makes sense. So hope this was an interesting and informative video. Again, I do private consultation and readings, both alone and with my partner who I do the Squared Astrology podcast with. Link for more information on that in the bio, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.